Hello, I'm Andreas Bunter and have been a service technician at Fristam Pumps for many years. Today, I'm going to show you how to adjust the feed screws on the FDS Nano. Observe your internal safety regulations. You can find additional safety information, tool sizes, torque values and other technical information in the FDS operating manual or on our website. First, remove the 4 screws on the pump cover. Take off the pump cover. Take the O-ring out of the groove of the pump housing. Check the O-ring for defects and discoloration. Next, loosen the 4 screws on the pump housing. Then pull off the pump housing. Gentle taps with a mallet may be required here. Take the O-ring out of the pump housing. Place an aluminium block in the thread runout of 1 feed screw to block it. Loosen the feed screw nut. Place the aluminium block at the thread runout of the other screw. Loosen its feed screw nut. Remove the O-ring from the feed screw nut. Check it for defects and discoloration. The feed screws have small markings. 1 dot marks the feed screw of the drive shaft. Remove both feed screws from the shafts simultaneously. Loosen the screws of the gearbox cover. Remove the gearbox cover, including the seal. Check the seal for damage. Loosen both grub screws in the clamping nuts of the powered shaft. Unscrew the clamping nuts until there is a gap of 1 millimeter between them and the gear wheel. Next, push both feed screws onto the shafts together. Observe the markings on the feed screws. A single dot marks the feed screw of the drive shaft. Now insert the O-ring in the feed screw nut. Wind on the feed screw nuts. Block the first feed screw with an aluminium block once more and tighten the feed screw nut with the appropriate torque. Block the other feed screws and tighten their nuts with torque as well. Now tighten the clamping nuts loosely until they just touch on the gear wheel. Check whether there is a gap between the feed screws. If there is no gap, or if the gap is uneven, adjust this by moving the gear wheel forwards and backwards using the clamping nuts. Repeat this step until the gap between the feed screws is even. Check this at various locations. Tighten both grub screws in the clamping nuts again. Pour in fresh oil until the oil level has reached the center of the level indicator. Place the seal of the gearbox cover on the opening. Place the gearbox cover on top and fasten it in place using the screws. Place the O-ring in the seal housing groove. Slide the pump housing over until it sits on the pins. Install the screws and fasten the pump housing. Check and make sure there is a gap between the screws and housing. Repeat this at different locations. Place the second O-ring in the pump housing groove. Place the cover at the end and fasten it in place using the screws. You have now successfully adjusted the feed screws.